What do you think is the biggest mistake people make in relationships? I think it's a combination of getting so comfortable with somebody that you take things for granted, stop doing the little things and stop communicating. Waiting until you're too far in to discuss marriage and kids. That's an issue that needs to be hammered it before you completely shut yourself off from anyone else. Losing perspective and taking it for granted. Trying to win arguments. The goal should be to solve disagreements as a team, not come out as the victor. Taking the other person's love, time, empathy, patience for granted. So many people jump straight to lack of communication, but more often than not the problem is refusing to accept what your partner is communicating. Communication skills can always be better, but a lack of understanding or willingness to compromise around the difference in each other's needs leads to resentment really quickly. Once you resent each other, it's game over. There's no real way to come back from that. Your partner not being your friend too. Compromising when they started the relationship and then regret sets in and destroys the relationship. Not leaving, ending a relationship when it needs to be ended. Sometimes the best thing to do is to walk away. Not dating their partner after getting married, having kids. Not communicating. Not being on the same page when it comes to finances, household responsibilities, boundaries with external family. Not prioritizing their partner. Not being able to apologize. If someone tells you they're upset with you, you don't need to argue back. Lack of communication. Thinking that it's one person's work. A successful relationship needs commitment and work from both parties. Believing that having a child will fix their problems. Great job, now the three of you are in a sucky situation and now are forever tied through a choice you both made instead of just working it out or separating. Both options that would have been a lot less messier and complicated, not to mention that the kid is now stuck between something that's not their responsibility to fix and now they're suffering through it. X200B. Compromising on big life decisions, it never ends well. Thinking you can change the other person. This applies to relationships and a lot of things in general. Reacting in a state of emotion. When people are in a heightened state of emotion, things seem extremely clear to them in the heat of the moment. They might interpret an event in one way, then spiral down, writing a story in their mind that fits whatever narrative they feel really strongly about. Often when the emotions have died down and people have had time to process their feelings, things appear very differently to them. They will regret their actions, but the damage has been done and some things can't be taken back. Not healing from their last relationship before beginning a new one. Building too much of a mythology around their relationship. I think falling in love always involves telling yourself a few little lies. However, that can become a whole fantasy of how you two were meant for each other that goes back to your magic meet cute, the amazing first date, the romantic XYZ. This makes the relationship become a sort of golden handcuff people feel they can never leave or alter. Foundation of lies. Going in without realizing they aren't ready for one. A lot of PPL aren't ready for relationships. They haven't developed enough as a person to be able to be with another person. I think these PPL attribute to most of the hurt hearts and divorces in the States. Their lack becomes a big issue even if the other party is trying, and everyone loses because these PPL aren't ready to handle what they wanted. Staying when there's obvious incompatibility. Lack of communication, not learning from your mistakes and assuming rather than asking. Not respecting your partner and their boundaries. Going into it with expectations. It keeps you from seeing incompatibilities after the initial affection has calmed down. Expecting their partner to be everything at ATT times. The perfect sexual partner, emotional support, playmate, gift giver, doer of chores, fixer of things, chef, and anything else you can think up. No person can be all of those things. Keeping score. I think these days everyone is being conditioned to be a narcissist, so if a relationship does happen, it's important to remember that it's not all about you, and to remember it's a partnership, not just a project for you to blast all over social media. Be mindful of the very real person you are with. They have feelings, hopes, interests, etc., too. They aren't just a prop. Letting other people insert their ideas about the partner. Make up your own ideas. Lack of communication, but also the delivery of the communication. Be mindful of your partner and how they need you to talk to them. Oftentimes it's taking a breath first, or maybe you just need to say, "I'm going to walk away for a moment, but I'll be right back." Too many times I've had exes, or even myself, just storm off upset or angry, but then nothing ever gets resolved. My stepdad is a farmer, and he told me that you should never talk about money problems, bills, etc. after 5 p.m. Money is a huge source of arguments or stress, and that's not how you want to end your day. Trying to be somebody else to please. Get into relationships with someone for their potential. No communication once you get comfortable. People are human beings, which means people change. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes it's neutral. But if it's a change to the normalcy of your relationship or lifestyle in any way, just let them know. Talk, for God's sakes. Not yelling or talking over each other, but genuine talking. The biggest mistake that people make is the idea that their partner is supposed to make them happy. Been dating my wife for 30 years. Married 28. I think many forget you have to never stop dating. If you stop dating each other, that is when you start taking your partner for granted, and then all of the other problems people are bringing up start. I will be dating my wife until I die. Mistaking infatuation or codependency for love or in love. My sociology professor once said, never assume anything. Just ask, talk. So easy with someone you trust. You are worried they will misconstrue your refusal. Explain yourself. You are worried they are thinking something bad about you. Ask them. You're going out of your way to make them comfortable and they are not valuing. Maybe ask them whether they need it. Just clarify whatever is over your head. So easy, I promise. Try and find their ideal partner that they created in their mind. Your 10-10 traditional wife and your reality TV rom-com perfect husband don't exist. Be realistic and flexible. Untruthiness. Trying to compete against each other instead of being allies. Settling instead of finding the person they are meant to be with. Arguing over mundane things. What I've learned in my 8.5-year-long relationship thus far is that some things, although annoying, are just not worth an argument over. Sure, if he's cheating or something as big as that, then yes, it'd end in an argument. But I'm not gonna cause WW3 because he came home a bit too drunk or because he didn't do something in the house he promised to do. Focus your energy on things that matter. Jumping in too fast. Settling for less than what they deserve. Lack of communication. Communication compromise. Also, beginning to take the other for granted. They stopped doing the little things that mattered in the early stages. Not building a solid base to their relationship through communication and common interests to fall back on when the initial obsession with one another begins to fade. Lack of genuine communication and not taking the time to understand the way your loved one communicates, perceives, and processes information and emotions. Trusting people who are obvious red flags, loudly crying face. They stop making effort. This is going well, no need to keep trying to make it better. And the love slowly dies. Falling for who you think they are and not being able to see the reality and hoping that they are willing to be who you want them to be. Only to realize it too